Now, all right, the topic of the lesson I want to get into, all right, um, honestly, I really don't have a topic, but it's basically going into, all right, the, the Degenerate Nation, all right, basically, the simplicity of our people, and, how basically, Israel has, chosen every other God besides, the one that their one true living power is, man. All right, they've went in each and every other way. All right, or chooses to go through each and every other way besides what is destined for them to go to. All right, which is Yahweh Shem Shai, man. All right, and I was watching this video, and it was, these three young little girls. They didn't look more than like 3 or 4 years old. All right, and they were hanging out the window and they were listening to some music, and it was the typical black culture, music, man. All right, that we grew up on, man. The things that we grew up on, the hood shit, the niggerisms. All right, and the girls was out the window. They were acting all, they were doing their little niggerisms and, just acting up, acting ratchet, man. And obviously, they're raised in a single parent household because, obviously there's no male figure in them girls' lives at all, period. And if it is, it's a shame, but that's the result of not having, all right, the wisdom, all right, of Yahweh Shem Shai, man. All right, because anybody who, is in their right mind, who has this truth, that shit is embarrassing, man. That it was just embarrassing, and it was sad, and I really felt bad, man. You feel bad for Israel, man. Because it is our people, but it is what it is, man. You just got to deal with it. It's a love-hate, relationship with the 2/3, man. And Lord willing, the Lord continue to keep the spirit on us, man, and continue to fear to where we don't become reprobates as the rest of Israel is, man. All right. So I'm gonna get this scripture real quick. All right. I'm gonna babble too long. I just want to get to the point. All right. This is Jeremiah chapter 3, verse 21. It says, "A voice was heard upon the high places, weeping and supplications of the children of Israel, for they have for they have perversed their way, and they have forgotten the Lord, their power, Yahweh." All right, so man, Jake is, as the scriptures say, tossed to and fro, man. They're gone into everything imaginable on this side that is wicked, man. All right, they believe in every other God besides the Lord. They believe in, everything besides what is meant for them to believe in, man. That Jake is into it, man. All right, and they're full-fledged, full-hearted into it, man. They but when it comes to the Bible, when it comes to the law, statutes, and commandments of the Lord, when it comes to the names, when it comes to all of that, Jake just, it just can't get right, man. They believe in everything else besides these scriptures, man. Oh, that's a white man's book, but yet you believing in these other man-made or doctrines of men, when these scriptures are, all right, given by the inspiration of Yahweh Shem Shai, man. But hey, man, we understand that, there's only a remnant that is going to be saved, and that only a remnant is going to understand the word, man. It sound repetitive, it sound like a broken record, but it's the truth. All right? So again, this is Jeremiah chapter 3, verse 21. It says, a voice was heard upon the high places, weeping and supplications of the children of Israel, for they have perversed their way and have forgotten the Lord, their power, man. So our people have forgotten the Lord, man. They've, again, just gone to every other God besides, all right, the true and living God, man. They've taken on the customs, all right, of the heathen, all right, and worship every other god of stone and wood and everything there is, all right, worshiping their creation rather than the Creator, all right. And you can see the product of that by, all right, the nature of our people, man, all right, the mindset, all right, they're completely gone, bugged out, all right. Let me get this next one, okay? All right. This is Ezekiel 36 and 19. And it says, I scattered them among the heathen, and they were dispersed through the countries according to their way and according to their doing. I judged them. All right. So our people, all right, have been scattered, all right, throughout the four corners of the earth, man. All right, for their disobedience. The Lord has, all right, that was a part of the curses, was to disperse our people, all right, amongst the nations, to where what? They worship wood, stone, all right, and other gods, man. All right, and that has destroyed us as a people, as a nation, okay, to where we are right now today, man. All right, a laughingstock, what, to the other nations, man. The other nations look at us and they just, all right, we're the center of the attention of comedy and everything that's not serious, man. Whenever we're supposed to be the rulers, the kings, the priests, of the earth, man. All right. Let me get this real quick. All right. This is Lamentations chapter 2, verse 15. It says, all that pass by clap their hand at thee. They hiss and wag their hand at the daughters of Jerusalem, saying, is this the city of men, the city that men call the perfection of beauty, the joy of the whole earth? All right, so you look at our people on the, you look at them on the corner stores. They drugged out. They, alcoholics. They're they're drug addicts. They strung out on all kind of things. All right, they talk crazy, uncivilized. All right, no emotional intelligence, is all over the place like a wild bull. Can't be cordial, can't reason, can't be reasonable men and women. Just all out there, man. And that's because they don't have the understanding of the word in them, man. All right, this world, all right, has consumed them, man. All right, and it's taken over their spirit, their mind. All right, everything that they see on social media, on music, the TV, everything, all of this is psychological warfare, man. That's why the scriptures tell us, man, the wilds of the devil, man. This is the wilds of the devil out here, man. On our people. All right, by his devices. All right. All of this stuff is wiring and programming our people to be off, and it's just a spiritual warfare out here, man. And the only way to defeat this, all right, this system or this way of thinking in the world is by having the Lord. All right, the Lord turning that key and unlocking your mental to understand the word, so that way you don't be consumed by the world. So it's grace and mercy. It's grace and mercy from the Lord, man. All right. get this next one, okay? This is verse 16. It says, all thine enemies have opened their mouth against thee. They hiss and grind, or should gnash the teeth. They say, we have swallowed her up. All right? Certainly this is the city that we looked for. We have found, we have seen it. All right? So the nations, man, they look at our people, man, they glad to see us in this predicament, man. Glad to see us as the laughing stock, man. All right? All these nations outside of America, they have already a perception of what we are. All right? Because of what they publish on the internet, man. What they publish in the world. They think that Jake is all like that, just completely looped out. But then when they come here, all right, they kind of be, oh, some of these not so, some of these Jakes are not so bad. You know what I mean? But this is what the devil has done, man. He's, all right, he's the accuser of our, like the scriptures say, the accuser of our brother. He's the one who's set up these devices and set up these things, all right? And he points the fingers at us, man, when he's the one who has done all these things to make us the way we are, man. All right? Let's go here, man. All right? Let's go here. Because that goes with this right here. This is Psalms 83:2. For lo, thy enemy make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. So they come up into these, they sit around these round tables, man, and they think about what has been a success, all right, and what has been a failure, all right, in destroying our minds of our people. They do experiments, man, all right, with these different celebrities and these people that are esteemed high, from the so-called lowest to the highest, all right, on every level, all right. They got our people hooked, line, and sinker, man. All right. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against thy hidden ones. All right. They get around these round tables, man, and start, even the people that are so-called have made it. Those are sellouts. Verse 4, they have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. So, they look at our people, all right, and they say, we got to do something to where, these people don't, find out who they are. So what? They put in our faces these so-called images of success, which is these so-called superstars, and they bug our people out of their mind, man. All right, and that's the reason why you got a generation of murders and adulterers and drug addicts and so forth and so on, man. Just degenerates, man. Again, it says, for they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee. They have made a covenant together with each other to make sure that we don't know who we are, that we don't wake up. But this prophecy that we're going to wake up, all right, is unstoppable. If it be of the Lord, who can stop it, man? All right. So, hey, man, the Lord is definitely working, man, because we see it. Our people are waking up, all right? And the scriptures talk about how, knowledge and wisdom shall increase in the last days, and we definitely see the wisdom is increasing, man, because our people are waking up, all right, in one way or another, all right? Let me continue back in that Lamentations. All right, this is Lamentations chapter 2, verse 16. Shalakia. 17. It says, the Lord have done that which he had devised. He hath fulfilled his word that he commanded in the days of old, he hath thrown down and have not polited, if I'm pronouncing that right, and he have caused thy enemy to rejoice over thee. So for this brief moment of time, the Lord has given the world into the hand of the wicked, which is Esau. So he's putting the enemy over us, man, as a way of punishment. All right. But, we're coming back into, all right, our stead, man. All right. The first, all right, the tail should become the head, and the head shall become the tail, man. All right. Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. All right. And it's all going to start with Yahweh Shai, man. Coming back, establishing the order, and taking over, man. All right. Along with the elect. All right. Along with the 12 and King David. All right. And the 144,000. All right. The order is going to be established on the earth, man. All right. Get this last one and I'm going to end it on out. All right. This is Psalms 19 and 7. And it says, the law of the Lord is perfect, converting the soul. So that's the only way that we'll be able to be a transition over. All right. The purification comes by the word, by hearing the word. All right. Scriptures say, basically, study the word so that way you'll be able to save yourself and those that hear you, man. So the washing of the word, all right, purifies us, and changes us, changes our mind frame, all right? But it can only come through Yahweh Shai. It says the law of the Lord is perfect, all right, converting the soul. The testimony of the Lord, Yahweh, is sure, making wise the simple, all right? So that basically the wisdom of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai pulls you out of that, the filth of the world, of whatever you believed before, all right? And it makes you a new creature, all right? It makes you a new being, all right? And the things that you used to do, you frown upon those things. You get disgusted, you get disgusted at the thought of that, man. And then when you see it, you are vexed in your spirit, and you be like, man, how long, Lord? So that's what's basically happening in the earth, man. The elect are waking up, and we see that these prophecies are coming to pass, and we know that our redemption draweth nigh, man. All right. So, just continue to endure. Lord willing, this video was edifying. Again, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. Again, double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Salutations and blessings to the Akim that do this work in truth and sincerity. Until the next time, Lord willing, I say shalom.